Are we ready? Yep. Okay. This is the virtual meeting of the Affordable Housing Committee on Tuesday, April 6th, 2021 at 4:30 p.m. This will be a virtual meeting convened via remote participation under the Governor's Executive Order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth from COVID-19 virus, with real-time public access provided by Orleans Channel 18 on the town website and cable television. My name is Bill Stockard. I'm the Vice Chair of the Affordable Housing Committee. Nancy Wren is our chair. She's joining us by phone today, but she asked me to chair. So first order of business, I'd like to take the roll call. Fran McClellan.
Here.
Katie Ribby.
Here.
That's my dog Lincoln barking in the background. I apologize. Richard Kendall.
Present.
Shelley Dawson.
Present.
Nancy James.
Present.
Okay, and we also have Andrea Reed, who is the liaison from the Select Board, and Marcia Algier and George Meservey joining us today. So welcome, everybody. Mainly today, and what will first order of business on the agenda is the update and review of our communication strategies. I think we all received the documents and flyers that have been done by all of us, and I think everybody's really stepped up and done a great job with all of this. There's also been some additional comments and observations that Nancy Wren provided us that she had received. So basically, there's lots of moving parts on all of these communication strategies, and I think the goal today is to consider, our next steps. And how to achieve the goal for developing a strategy in advance of the upcoming town meeting on May 22nd. So what I'd like to do is ask Marcia if she'll kind of bring us up to date about reviewing where we are, what we do have, hopefully maybe where we're going and how to get there. And I know George also will have some comments on the strategy and how to get there. So I'd like to turn this over to Marcia and ask for her assistance.
Okay, great. Thanks for everybody. And thanks everybody for all the work. It's been kind of awkward working in these small groups and not being able to communicate with everybody at once. I know I found it very, very awkward not knowing exactly who I sent what to. So hopefully people have gotten the main documents. But I think it's been an overall good process, also from the point of view that not only in support of Penrose, which is what we're organizing for, but also as sort of a template and a model for whatever kind of community engagement strategy or communication strategy you want to devise. So if we were to move forward with Governor Prince, whether or not this would apply, I think it could be very helpful. So there are basically, I'd say, 4 pieces to it. And I believe, Nancy, I don't think you ever got the stuff from Andrea, right?
No, I did not. I'm sorry. I
What-
emailed it again, but
Yeah,
no.
that's the 4th piece that we haven't gotten, but I think we're pretty well along. So the first piece is the messaging piece, which is basically the key talking points. And I think we got a little bit, it was a little bit strange because what's the difference between a message and the content? So part of what I think we're working through is, from my point of view, the key talking points are the main thrust of the narrative, the messages that we're trying to put forward, not necessarily the exact wording to be used, but the main ideas of the messaging. And then the content creation is taking those main ideas and creating the actual content, whether it's a flyer, whether it's a letter or whatever. And then the third group is doing the distribution and how to get the message out, which is leading to our 4th product, which we don't have, which is a work plan in order to get all that achieved and laying out who does what by when in order to come out at the other end. So I think we're well along with that. And I think we can come to a conclusion here as to what our overall work plan is. I think we can read between the lines, even though we don't have the the actual spreadsheet from Andrea. So in terms of the key talking points, I've tried to put together a number of things that evolved as we went along. So I think they're in pretty good shape. I know that Katie and Bill had questions on it. I don't know that we have to exactly micro edit this. Again, it's not like we're going to use something with this document and sending it out to the world. It's really the content of what we're trying to message. So I think we should spend more time perhaps on the actual content creation and certainly the distribution and our scheduling from then. But are there any particular comments or ideas in terms of the key talking points? And then what I will try to do is just keep it up to date. So if you do have ideas specifically about something that should be added, which I've tried to, as we've gotten that information from the Penrose Company, which has been useful information about what kind of people in terms of income will be there. I found that information about what proportion of the total cost
That
is
was good.
comes from other sources, which I think is very compelling because basically it's 90% of the cost of this project is non-town resources. So from the point of view of leveraging, it's an excellent investment. So I will continue to keep adding to those key talking points and keep sending it out. So if we decide to create new content or to do another form of distribution, we can pull on that as we go along. I do think a lot of what we put in there is applicable to any affordable housing project. So we can use a lot of that same information for any other project or any other housing advocacy we'd like to do. Okay, so moving on then to content creation, and partly I'm going to call on the groups to report a little bit on it. We have a couple of things from is it Fran and who's all in that group?
Shelley,
Fran,
Rich.
Shelley, and
Rich.
Rich, that's right. So we have the two flyers. We call it flyer number 5 and flyer number 6. So are there any particular comments or thoughts about that, Fran or Rich, or anybody want to comment on that?
I could say just a little bit. There were some edit corrections that people pointed out, which worked well, which I have changed, like the 110% to 120% of AMI for who would live at the Penrose development. And secondly, on the other flyer, there was, I needed to remove a word. Then there were some suggestions about, on the flyer about Penrose, 62, under the what, 62 affordable workforce, affordable and workforce 1, 2, and 3 bedroom rental homes. Someone was suggesting apartments as opposed to the word homes. And so I'm open to that one way or the other.
I will point out from our readings, those articles from the Framework Institute and others, they actually encourage, and I'm actually looking for alternate words besides housing project, which their point is that it makes it sound like a commodity you buy out in the market. And why can't anybody just buy whatever product they want? So they actually suggested we use things like home to make it more personal and more human. So I actually like the term rental homes rather than rental apartments, but I don't know what other people think.
I think the question was that they might think that we were building homes on that property. That was the only concern instead of apartments. But if they look at the picture, they might be able to figure it out. So
I think that's a good point that Marcia just made. It does, there's something about calling them homes because they are homes to people. Yeah. Katie, you have your hand up?
Yeah, mine was sort of a minor point. The 120 and the 110%. I think there's a reason it says 110. I think it's something about the Orleans AMI that we can only go up to 110 as opposed to 120. Don't quote me on it, but there's something about that.
The workforce housing, community housing under CPC used to go up to 100, but now 110 is allowable. I'm told. I haven't seen that in writing. I got that from Charlie Adams. So I think that's why we're at 110.
George, was there an issue about Penrose asking for a particular range and the state needing to give its permission?
No, I think that's all going to wash out. The project eligibility letter said there would be 62 housing units that rented at under 60% AMI. And Penrose got that approval, and then they went back and said, we want to, of course, we want to jockey that around a little bit to what we have show here. So I think we're fine.
But weren't they going for workforce housing funding or no?
That's up to them. That's not our concern presently, but they are.
Yeah, and that's what
The
I thought,
townhomes.
what they get approval for if they get workforce funding from
Right.
the state is, I wasn't sure whether that was 110 or 120 or what.
So what's the number we want in our flyer?
I'd leave it at 110. I'd
110?
leave it as is.
Okay.
And what about homes or apartments? Leave it as homes or?
You know, I was just thinking about that. You could say apartment homes, and that way it would allow people to understand what they are, but it would give the word home, you know, which I like that too, because I think they are homes and it's more, I don't know, just like
Yeah.
it better. So you could say apartment homes.
Shelley?
We also have the townhomes that are being built, so
Mhm.
Mhm.
do they qualify as apartments?
Well, part of it is that, we're not in a position to do it, but we got to distinguish between a structural type and an ownership category. Because you can have townhomes that are rented, or you can have townhomes that are sold,
Mhm.
and same for almost anything. So how about rental homes? Or rental apartment homes? It does add another word. I don't know if it screws up your spacing at all.
I can check it out.
Okay,
Rental apartment homes, is that what we're thinking?
that's what I'm sounding like.
Everybody okay with that? Okay. Fran, we'll go back to you. Did you have anything else on this one?
No, no, I
Okay.
don't.
Anybody else have anything else to add or
Just
suggest?
a question. One of the things that in Kevin's text that I thought was really helpful was the fact that this isn't going to raise people's taxes. And I didn't, maybe it's there, but I didn't see it in either of the
It was there.
Bottom line.
sheets. And I think
It's at
that's
the
helpful.
bottom of the Penrose flyer.
Ah, at the very end, I see it. Yeah, good.
Should it be repositioned?
Mhm.
Hmm.
I mean, it seems like it just settles people's thought to know that, you know, rather than thinking, oh my God, you know, what's happening?
Did you put it in between the pictures?
I can put it anywhere we want it.
Putting above the two pictures of the buildings, you know, so those would hold the bottom of the space, those two nice pictures, and then have that above it maybe?
That would work.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna suggest too, Nancy.
Yeah, I
So
think
you
that
read
would
it
look
before you look at the pictures.
right.
Look at the pictures and read about the tax credit. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a footnote, it looks more of
Right.
a point that
So
we're trying to make.
between the pictures, okay.
Yes,
No, well, no, between the map and the
That's
picture.
the
Between the
suggestion.
map and the pictures. Thank you. Yeah, I got it.
I really like the pictures in there. I think it really helps to have a graphic, a physical picture.
One comment on the pictures, if I could, Fran. Would
Yeah.
you be offended if I cropped these to get the titles out of the bottom and maybe just get a little bit better clarity on the pictures?
I would love that.
All right.
At one of our meetings, there was some talk about the people that live next door. I think it's Landing's Edge that's next door. What's happened there? Have they settled or?
They had,
The 40B permit has not been issued yet. That's going to be probably decided tomorrow night. But the public hearing on that is closed, so it's really up to the Board of Appeals to make their decision, and they've asked the applicant's attorney to write up the decision. So, I mean, that's as close to a tacit approval as you're going to get. So I think that gets done tomorrow. And, you know, Nancy and I were talking with the Penrose folks yesterday, and, you know, their experience is most, not all, but most abutters who object to a housing project, they stand up and they say their piece in public, and then they kind of go about their lives. I haven't seen any organized resistance to this project, only some
good.
individuals with comments.
Good, thank you.
Andrea?
It's also being covered tomorrow during the select board time under the town administrator's correspondence. So their feelings will get aired and discussed in 2 forums. Of course, we have no say since the zoning board of appeals is the arbiter here, but they will get discussed.
so will you discuss what's actually the content of the letter? You won't be reading the letter, right?
The letter is in our packet.
Right.
So, and John will present it. I don't know how he intends, but I think we will be, without offending the folks who have concerns, reminding people that this has been a public process all the way through and that there were multiple hearings above and beyond, you know, what was required.
And can you also emphasize the safeguards that are already in place in this town with all the different review boards? I think that has to be said, look, every opportunity we can, there are things in place to protect people in this town. I think that needs to be said. And I would,
Not just that, Nancy, I am so impressed and proud of our process where during those public hearings, we hold through these community agreements, we hold developers responsible for responding to what they've heard and documenting it. So you bet, if there is appropriate opportunity, I will be representing our process as it's evolving. No problem.
Okay, Marcia, just a question on the flyer now. Following this discussion that we just had, is this the final version of this, or are we still leaving it open in case people see additional comments? I know we don't want this to go on forever, so I'm just curious what your thoughts might be. I mean, is this our last chance to make a comment?
I think this is it for these pieces. What we have to talk about is, are there other formats and how we're going to use these pieces, which could affect content, but not from the point of view of editing words so much as what you're going to use it for. So why don't we get into that discussion and then we circle back around. But I think these 2 documents, from my point of view, are in excellent shape and ready to be used.
Right.
A little cropping here and a couple of the words. And so I think, Fran, you're going to make some of the final wording changes and send it back out. George is going to clean up some of the captions or whatever is down there. Is there anything else that people see need to be done before we actually use it? We just have to decide how we're going to use it.
The other thing that occurred to me was on I don't know if this is 5 or 6, but the captions, over 20 years of planning, changes in population, land use challenges, those 4, those are great. I really like them. I wondered, is there going to be color? Are we adding color to this or anything, or is there a way to have those pop out a little bit more?
I've thought of that, Nancy, and I'll try to do that actually. See if I can do it with the spacing.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I think those are really good. They really
yeah.
they say a lot in a few words, I guess.
You could maybe you could all caps them and then put them in a different font color.
I'll try that.
Again, it depends. If we're going to do a black and white copy, it doesn't do anything. But depending on what we use it for, we
Yeah.
could put more color in it.
Okay.
So would you prefer them embedded in a colored box or just using colored letters?
Letters.
Okay.
You don't want boxes because I think that would just pop them out enough to get the color in there.
Okay.
You don't even have to do capitals. I think once you get your colors, and that won't affect your spacing as much. I think you could just bold colors, and I think that would just give enough of a contrast. And if you
Okay.
did the blue, it would go nice with your chart.
Yep.
So, I think it would give a nice graphic to it that'd be nice.
Okay, great.
Good point.
Okay.
It's so much more fun to edit than it is to create, you know that? You did a great job.
Okay, then why don't we get into how we're going to use this and whether we need to create any other formats? And that gets into the distribution group, which talked about letter to editor, sort of a cover letter kind of thing. But let's talk about how we're going to get this out. I mean, obviously, you can turn either or both, or you can do a two-sided thing and you can hand them out at town meeting, for example. Or you can put a cover letter on one or both of them and send them out. Or you can do any number of things. So I think we need to talk about what are the most effective ways to use these materials and get it out, and whether there are other formats we have to create for other ways of distributing the message. Any thoughts about using these two flyers, either as two flyers or a two-sided handout?
Is it something that we could put in like water bills or something like that? And is the timing even there before town meeting?
Probably can't go out with a water bill or a tax bill at this stage. I just wanted to bring up something that we talked about with Penrose. Actually, I think working from the easiest decision, I think, don't these two make a perfect two-sided handout for people walking into town meeting?
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
Because they're informative, they're value neutral, they're just very good.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
But
a-
then, we were talking to Charlie Adams, and his perspective, there's a bit of, don't wake a giant if you don't have to. If this project appears to have 98% public approval, the naysayers are, well, what's this going to cost me? And after that, they're neighbors, they're abutters. Those are the only negatives that I've heard. So maybe you don't have, if you're heading to yes, don't stop the momentum, I guess, is the message. So, I'll leave it to you guys to figure out how much you want to get the word out or make things available to people, but not necessarily pushing them on folks who may not be interested in the subject and will go right along with it at town meeting. So leaving it at that.
Yeah.
I'll concur with George because I was more of the other mind before, but after talking to Charlie and the other people there, I tend to agree that maybe we don't need to blanket the world, especially the email idea that we had before with the cover letter. If somebody had a question, maybe we could if we got some questions, we could send them something. But I think the cold call is going to be not appropriate at this point in time.
Well, let me understand, at town meeting, can anybody just hand out pieces of paper? How does that work?
Yeah, there's a distance you have to be away from the entrance, and you can hand out political materials to people as they walk by.
So we just have to, we did want to organize an effort to hand it out at the town meeting? Is that what people are?
We do.
Yeah. Yeah. We would just volunteer, I guess, to be stationed at the entrances to the meeting and just hand them out, right? Yeah.
So obviously we have to produce a number of them. Anybody have an idea of what number to produce? And George, does the town?
We have money for this.
No,
We have
okay.
education money from CPC that we can get we can get some good printing done. If we get the final copy, I think that just have them printed.
Yeah, I think
So-
500 ought to do it, right?
How
Something like
much?
that. 500 copies.
All right,
Many people won't take them.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Richard?
George, I have a question. Can we leave them next to the warrant, where the warrants, like at the town hall, where the warrants are,
Nope.
from the box?
Can't do that. That looks
No.
like an official document the town has sanctioned.
Right.
Yep.
So passing them out at the meeting
Good
would be
idea,
good.
though.
I hate to raise this. Can we hand them out at the dump at the transfer station in advance of the
Post office.
and the post office? Or is that Does that get into the overkill that you and George were talking about? Maybe just doing it at town meeting is enough. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of see leaving it somewhere like in a box, somewhere where you'd be like, oh, you might be able to pick that up and it would look interesting.
It's a good idea. I'm not sure where that might be applicable. Shelley?
Just a question. We're only able to vote at town meeting. We're not voting absentee this time. So do we have to worry about absentee voters? Or,
There will be a ballot
Mail-in
question
voters?
associated with this as well.
hmm.
So it will go to the polls.
Can we put this on the website? On our page on the website or not? Because I think that might, it's pretty innocuous.
Yeah.
So that's something we could do without, okay, I'm seeing head nods, so. That'd be
Well,
enough.
one of the things that was on the plan, and I was going to talk to Sarah Eaton about it, was beefing up our website just a bit. So George, I will follow up and see if we can, basically make a page that highlights affordable housing issues in the town, so that it'd be a more obvious place. And if somebody searched for affordable housing, they would get that. So I haven't had the chance to talk to Sarah about it, but I will try to pursue that.
It would be nice to put on that page also, just that little write-up that Kevin had, something like that says the three things that are sort of have come together. I don't know if it's conflicting, but just to say we have 3 projects at different stages and different types of projects. The beginning of his paper, I thought we can work on it a little bit more, but I think it's nice to have that pipeline approach written somewhere. We talk about it a lot to ourselves, but not necessarily to anybody else.
Okay, when I talk to Sarah, let me see whether we can design something that reads easily.
Yeah.
So I'll try to do that.
Okay, Andrea?
Would you entertain the idea of before town meeting, potentially during one of your meetings, regular scheduled meeting, having a Q&A using your materials and screen share to lead the public through? Because even if there are only 5 people in the public attending, that walkthrough of your material would be recorded and rebroadcast on channel 18. And that would be another way to kind of practice your talking points as advocates and get them recorded and rebroadcast.
Interesting. Anybody comment on that? Is that something we should pursue?
An extra meeting or our May meeting? Is that what we're talking about?
When's
May
the
meeting.
early May, right?
Yeah.
We are our May regular meeting.
But
Is that
I'm only thinking, Nancy, that Citizens Forum, if they're covering the warrant, may or may not have the time to go in the kind of detail and separation of and spirit of all the work you guys have done, because the warrant is so big that maybe it would be a supplement and a way to kind of address rehearsal for what.
Do you know when that is? Do you know when that is, Bill? When the warrant?
We're still discussing it. It'll either be May 10th or May 17th, probably.
Okay, and when does the select board go through the warrant for the public? Don't they do one too?
We do it, but we do it really quickly. We do it
Yeah.
multiple times, and we're doing it now in terms of the warrant article, but we blast through it.
There's not a public hearing?
Yes.
Those dates would be important to get. I haven't seen either one of those, but I think that would be helpful to see. We can piggyback onto one of those things maybe.
When I was just thinking of ways of using the pieces you've already written in
Right.
just a different way to present them. So no heavy lifting.
It might be something worthwhile to think about, Nancy, as a special meeting or something. We're just, as far as a citizen forum, it's in the very early stages, but we should have something coming together pretty soon. Like I said, it'll either be the 10th or the 17th, I believe.
Okay, let's give
I
that.
think it could be just an agenda item at one of our regular meetings, and
Right.
If people are there, have called in, want to ask a question, it's an opportunity to have either a longer or shorter time frame. If we have a special meeting and nobody comes, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, well, I think the purpose of that May meeting is going to be preparation for town meeting, for us to be prepared. So that makes sort of sense that we could do that.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, that's not too early either, I think,
It's what?
it's not too early to do that. I mean, it'll still be in people's minds. So I think that's. a
Oh,
good-
yeah.
And it'll also raise some questions that we haven't considered.
That's true too.
Mhm.
And how would we advertise that? Just on the website? How would we advertise that?
I can help. We've got Orleans Cultural District Facebook page. We have several people like me who have very large mailing lists if you need to get a word out to something. So if you create the invitation to the public, I'm sure we can, I know Sarah and Mia can push it out through the town notifications. We'd get it out there.
Okay, let's give that a little bit of thought. I think it's a good idea. I need to process a little in my brain
Yeah.
because we're presenting things that we're really positive about. Open-ended questions can turn the tide really quickly. So we have to sort of think of
Yeah.
the good and the other response in case we need to be ready for that. I think we are, but it'd be nice to think about a little bit.
Good point. Good point. Yes, George.
Yeah, see, I feel like the primary question you're going to have, the stumper question is going to be at town meeting, somebody's going to say, I don't think we should put $2 million of public money into a developer's hands so he can develop
Right.
an old commercial building and make a substantial profit. And so we need all the 5 talking points on why that isn't true.
Right. That's already come up. I mentioned it at the finance committee. That already came up. And that's why we got that little graph from Rico.
Ryan, yeah.
Ryan, sorry, that helps see the pot, but it's still $2 million no matter what it is. So,
Mhm.
and we could also, I don't know if this is a good idea. Maybe we could invite somebody from the trust to talk at our meeting too, or not. Maybe, I don't know.
I was just thinking back to what George said.
You're
at
from the
onset,
trust. You
which
can
is-
speak from the trust. What?
I
I forgot you got dual hat. You're good. Sorry.
No, I mean, not anything about that at all, but it was more just reminding what George said at the onset of the meeting, which was there's 98% approval of the project. So, we were all concerned about the trust, creating the trust and creating the funding source from the trust too. We didn't take any of these steps, and similar to what George said, it went through town meeting without a big issue. So maybe consider, less is more.
I'm
The other
curious
idea,
about the 98%. How do we know that?
We don't.
No, yeah.
I thought that was a real number. I don't know,
Come on,
I repeated
No.
it like it was a real number.
Thank you.
98%
I'm good at
people
presenting
must
numbers
know.
like that.
Nancy, thanks for pointing that out.
I just lost my train of thought, which was actually a good one. Hold on. The other, rather than having the questions and answers, we still could present some of our information at our meeting even though it would be, to us, we already heard it. Maybe we could find a way to just do like a preview of what's coming up in affordable housing and town meeting. I don't know. I gotta give this some
It
thought.
could just be an update report on the Cape Cod 5 project.
Right.
And then you could just make sure to cover the important points you want to cover. And you can say,
Okay.
well, the question arose as to whether this is too much money. You can have some discussion around that. And then we have these 2 things. I don't know whether you want to generate any other materials, but we can get through that discussion. But whatever materials you have, you can show.
And yeah, we can screen share and do similar to what you did with 107 Main a little bit.
Mhm.
I mean, I think that would be not all the process, but just a few screenshots of things like that. What we have already made in that graph, I think would be, an update, I think. And we could, I think we have had questions So we could say I mean, I have lots of questions that people have already asked me, so we could do it in the format. These questions have come up and these are some of the answers. I sort of like that a little more controlled, but also real questions that are on people's minds that we have heard. We just haven't heard the questions that they haven't said yet, but we're trying to dig it out. Andrea, could I ask you a question too?
Sure, sure.
Is there going to be an exit 89? There wasn't one. Once I talked to Elaine and she said there was going to be one on the school and then maybe one on affordable housing. Is that coming or is that died or what is the?
You know, I'm actually, I don't know. I'm no longer connected with them.
You're not? Okay.
Directly, except that Martha and I talk all the time because we're friends. So my understanding is they're going to do one on town warrant, of course, on town meeting.
Right.
But I think it's too close to the school issue for them to get out a separate one. I actually we have a work session on another matter on Friday and I can ask her.
Well, I'd just like to know if they're going to do it, that they get some of our materials. I mean, I would like to be able to share something. I know they write their own stuff, but we want to be able to get our materials there.
Actually, Nancy, that's very cool because of course it is part of the Warren article. And so maybe what I can do is just make sure she reaches out to you when they get to researching that part of the Warren article. That's easy.
Okay.
Let me just circle around. So I'm hearing everybody feels it'd be a good idea at our May meeting to have some type of presentation to the public and possibly some type of answer and question given the opportunity. So if everybody agrees, as we said, we don't have to have all the details, Nancy, or you've raised some good questions and concerns, and I think we'll give some time to see what it would, hash it out and see what it can look like. But I think everybody seems to agree that it'd be a good idea to try it, right?
Get on that.
Yeah, I would just vote for more of a presentation than a Q&A, but.
Yeah, I think I'm moving toward that too, but we can present it as questions that have been asked that we're going to discuss. I think that that's fair.
Probably be a better way to go. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Up some doors that we wouldn't necessarily want to open up and not have the people that could provide the answers that we may receive. So,
Right.
yeah. Okay, well, we'll spend some time on that. Okay. Marcia, what else?
Okay, any other distribution, any other ways we want to get out messages kind of thing? So we talk about town meeting itself, a handout. We're talking about an agenda item on the May meeting. I'll talk about to Sarah about their webpage and beefing that up. Anything else prior to the town meeting we want to do?
We can't put a letter to the editor from affordable housing, I don't think. Is that correct? I heard that from somebody that we can't stand up as a committee. And is that true or not? Or can we do Katie, a couple of years ago, you wrote,
I wrote, yeah.
That
Tom asked
comment.
me to write one just as a member of the affordable housing, but I don't know why we couldn't vote to have someone from the committee write one.
Are we allowed to do that?
George is shaking his head. Or do you have a comment?
Yes,
George?
nodding or shaking, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's a mild shake. It's
You guys are volunteers. What are they going to do to you if you write something and send it to the newspaper? You make recommendations to the Board of Selectmen as the Affordable Housing Committee. But I would recommend if you wanted to submit something that an individual resident like Nancy Wren, who is the chair of the Affordable Housing Committee, submit something to the Cape Codder and the Chronicle and see if they'll print it.
Using that title or as a citizen? I guess.
Do whatever you want. I am not hung up on that. I think that you're trying to present information for the people of the town. So
yeah, I don't think, I certainly put in there that I was on the Affordable Housing Committee when I.
yeah,
when
and
I
Ed
wrote it.
Maroney
I
will
don't
note
think
it
it's a
no matter
problem.
what.
Was it a vote? Was it a vote issue that you were talking about, just the general need for it? That's what I'm trying to remember. It was a good article,
Tom
but I
just
can't remember what it
asked me to
said.
do it.
But did you,
I had
did you?
statistics in there
But it
too.
was good. It was good.
Yeah.
It was very good.
No,
I probably
thank
have
you.
it somewhere.
I could probably dig it up too, but I don't remember us discussing it. I think Tom just asked me to do it. He had done one like a couple weeks prior, and he had just asked me to write one too, just to support. It was when we were creating the trust. Why it
Well, I think
was.
we wrote a letter of support to the zoning board, which had a lot of good reasons why we thought it was a good idea to have this project. So maybe it could just be something like that.
But Nancy, I think everything you're doing is public record. You're broadcasting live now. If you
Mhm.
want to take the synopsis of your materials and submit them to the press and sign under your name as representing the trust, it's public information now. So
Okay.
I don't think you have any conflict at all. You're already taking public action and it's completely transparent. You're just
My question-
disseminating it differently.
My question is, I'm wanting people to vote in a certain way. That was my question. Or I'm just saying, this is a good project, so i.e., therefore, you should vote this way, but that, you don't say that, so I guess you just say why this is a good project.
But I think you can say that the Affordable Housing Committee supports this project as chair of
Okay.
the committee. I think the way
Okay.
you heard it, and you've already given, I think if you word it as representing the action of your board, you're fine.
Okay,
And I definitely put in there to vote for, this is why we should vote for the trust. It was a direct, request or suggestion, or however you want to phrase it.
Fran, you had your hand up?
I do. I just a question for George. We keep coming up with good ideas. And so I'm wondering from George, where do you think we are on this continuum of doing more and doing less?
I think you're in the right place right now. I think a letter to the newspaper is presenting information that people could ignore or take in. As Rich said, they could take the flyer or not take the flyer.
Mhm.
I just wouldn't want to appear forceful or beyond advocacy, And I think it's perfectly, I love the idea. I read some of the stuff that Nancy wrote on a different property, and I thought that should be a letter to the editor. That was my first reaction because it was compelling and it was just well crafted. So yeah, nothing wrong with that.
So
You can each do one individually if you want,
on the continuum, George, with the letter to the editor, to the handing out town flyers, to the website, do you feel we're covered and that's enough, or not too much, or where do you think we are?
I mean, I'll leave it up to you guys, but I'm pretty comfortable that that's gonna get it done.
yeah.
And you keep your ears open to see if there's something that appears you need to address. And I kind of like the idea of having on your agenda saying, Penrose Project Q&A session, and you just describe it. And if anybody wants to call in and ask a question, they can do it. We call that flushing the grouse, ahead of time. And that can be helpful. So I think those four things probably gets you where you need to be.
Okay.
And I actually think that you could do nothing and you'll get where you need to be. That's a good project.
That is the call. That is the real crux of the issue. Do we do enough? I mean, that's, I guess it.
Without
So
the-
we wouldn't even have to invite people. We could just put it on our agenda and that would be fine. I think that probably be better than trying to invite too many people. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I would just say, Nancy, if you are going to do a letter to the editor, I don't know if you've done one before, but the timelines get pretty short because you got to submit it like a week ahead.
Mhm.
And, I don't know how they pick them, but if there's a bunch, you might get lapsed and go to the next week. So if you are going to
I think
put one together.
I would call, they might give the commentary one too. I like those, in my opinion, kind of things. I
Mhm.
thought those are pretty good too. So we'll see. I will work on that. Okay.
Okay. Marcia, do you have anything else, or we?
No, let me just make sure that everybody knows who's doing what then. So one, there is the two-sided handout, which takes a little bit more work. Fran's group needs to do a little work, and George is going to do a little more work, right? Fran, you had a question?
Yes, I do. I had a data question that I wasn't sure of. I had said nearly a half
Oh, yeah.
of the town's homes are seasonal. Somebody else gave feedback that it was more than a half.
It is.
So where are we with that? Do we have a definite number, or should I just say about half?
George George, didn't we hit over the?
51, I thought. I
Yeah,
thought we hit 51. No?
Let me get you
George.
tomorrow's number, okay?
Okay, thanks.
And I should go right to you, Fran, right?
Yes, please, thanks.
Okay, so once we have that, George, what's the mechanics of printing and stuff? 500 copies of whatever we're producing.
I guess you probably want to go to Staples to have it done.
Okay, I just didn't know whether or not you.
Well, the town has an account. I mean, generally, we like to have them give us a bill, but there are a couple departments that have accounts with Staples, and sometimes it's just easier to just funnel it right through an existing account so you can charge it. So we can do that offline. We can figure that out.
Okay, all right. So we'll take care of the reproduction through whatever means we need to. So that's number one, is that handout and getting copies. Number two is Nancy's going to do some sort of letter to editor or whatever. Is that right? In her capacity as the chair of the Affordable Housing Committee?
Yes.
Yeah. And Nancy, if you want any help from me, let me know. So if you
I
want,
might like some help, somebody else to review it or at least look at it. And, I think we should
Yeah.
make sure that it's nothing glaring there. I think I've figured that out, but you never know.
And
Okay.
Fran had her hand up to help you, Nancy.
Yeah. I'm
Whose
happy to
hand is
help.
Yeah.
Van?
Yeah.
Fran is helping. Okay. And then number three, I have an agenda item is it May 4th? Is it the first
Yes.
week?
Make it.
Yes.
At the May 4th meeting, we'll put it on the agenda. And Nancy, if you like, I'll be glad to start a PowerPoint presentation, a really short one, but sort of more emphasis about the questions that have arisen and hear the answers to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can start a presentation and share it with you or who wants to be involved in that one. Or I'll do it myself, but
Is that distribution?
Maybe Nancy, I don't know, the other Nancy.
the other Nancy? Nancy, you okay with that?
Can you repeat?
Well, I'm going to do a draft PowerPoint presentation for May 4th meeting
Mhm.
on the Penrose project, but
Mhm.
emphasizing sort of the questions that have come up, and here are the answers to the questions.
Yeah,
So if I can share that with you and you give me comments as to,
oh, absolutely, sure.
okay, so I'll work with Nancy on that. And then number four, I'm gonna try to get together or talk to Sarah about beefing up the webpage. I'm not sure how much we're gonna achieve by then, but we certainly can post things on the town website. But I was hoping to do a little bit more targeted, a little nicer kind of webpage. So I'll report back on that once I talk to Sarah.
Okay.
I'm
Okay, so
excited
those are
about
the-
that, Marcia. We've been
Sorry?
wanting to do that first. I'm excited about the website. We've been talking
am
about
too.
doing that for a long
Yeah,
time.
to do it right, it takes a little bit of effort. So hopefully Sarah can give me a lot of pointers as well as helping me with the work. So I'm not
Yeah,
sure
thanks,
I'm
Julie.
gonna get how quickly, but I'll work on that. So that's the 4 action items, Bill, and any other action items?
Can I just ask one other thing? Nancy had put together a whole bunch of social media opportunities. And it sounds like we're not going to use those now, or is there any role for any of those with the chamber or any of those? I was thinking the chamber might be something we might want to use because there's businesses involved with that. But what do you think about that, people?
I think that's now getting into overkill almost.
Okay.
Especially, I know I appreciate what the chamber does. They put out an awful lot, but could be part of the problem. They put out an awful lot, and are we just adding too much?
Okay.
That's just me, but
I agree with Bill. I think that's a great list and we'll probably need it at some point and maybe even for.
But not for this one.
events, but Not for this one.
I think the other thing you have to remember with social media is you can get into, the back and forth and people saying things without knowing what they're talking about. And
Yeah.
and then people read that and think it's true. And yeah, so I
Yeah,
I think
we're
this,
I think we're covered. I really-
good. Okay, just want to make sure.
Just one last thing on content. I think we all agreed this financial stack was an excellent document. that
Yes.
He shared with us, that could certainly be part of the PowerPoint, or I don't see how we could add it to the handouts, but somewhere along the line, that is just,
Yeah.
you know, that'd be
I can
great,
add it to the,
especially for our May 4th meeting, because as we said, people raise the financial questions. So, yeah, that'd be great. Okay. All right.
What a
anything-
team.
Pardon me?
What a team.
It's great, really. I wasn't sure how we were coming together today, but we certainly did. It's great. So on the agenda for future agenda topics, we're keeping the update of our charge. Once we get settled with all the work we're doing right now on the communications efforts, we'll get back to that and revisit the charge. I see Katie smiling. I don't know what she's looking for.
June meeting. I would,
Just something we keep talking about.
oh God, it's a,
Just another thing I didn't take care of for you guys. I'm sorry.
We got in your way.
No. Okay. We do have minutes to approve. Nancy, just a procedural issue on the agenda. It does say approval of minutes from March 3rd.
it was second and third. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the second and third, is that okay if we do that?
We changed those dates back and forth so much. I'm sorry.
No. I just wanted procedurally, it's okay if we approve March 2nd. Is that all right?
Both of them. I think,
Yeah.
I think this, I gave it both of them, but they just had the
We
same
do
date
have
on.
both. One is March 2nd, one is March.
One is March 3rd.
So what I'd like to do is ask for approval. I'd entertain a motion for approval of the joint meeting that we had with the Housing Trust on March 2nd. Is there a motion? Shelley,
So moved. Move that we approve the minutes as written.
I'll second.
okay, is there a second? Yes. Katie seconded. All in favor of approving the minutes of March 2nd?
Aye.
Aye.
Roll call? Nancy, do I do a roll
Aye.
call?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fran,
Aye.
Richard,
Aye.
Katie,
Aye.
Nancy, James,
Aye.
Shelley,
Aye.
Nancy Wren,
Aye.
and I, Bill Stockard, aye. So everyone approves March 2nd meeting. And also for our Affordable Housing Committee meeting on March 3rd, I'll entertain a motion to approve. That was the working session that we had with Andrea. That was the only order of business.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Nancy seconded. Okay, all in favor, Fran,
Aye.
Richard,
Aye.
Katie,
Aye.
Nancy James,
Aye.
Shelley,
Aye.
Nancy Wren,
Aye.
and I, Bill Stockard. Aye. Okay, and there's just one note on the agenda that the ZBA meeting on the comprehensive permit is, let's see, tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So everybody, if they want to tune in for that. And our next meeting will be May 4th at 4:30. Is there anything else? Yes, Fran.
I just wondered, how do we access that ZBA meeting? Because it's at the same time as the Board of Selectmen, I believe.
If you,
And so,
if you have to go through your phone or if you go to their, oh gosh, I think it's on the same page as the ZBA and you scroll down, there's a place to click there. It's either there or on the calendar. I don't know which one it is, but if you scroll all the way down, there is a Zoom link there that you can, webinar link that you can get into.
And they use
Uh,
YouTube. They just put it on YouTube instead of Channel 8.
After I get off, I will look to see where I found it and I'll send it to you, Fran. But it's basically right on the town webpage. You just have to scroll down and there's a place to click on and you just get right in.
okay,
I
thank you.
think Andrea's right too. When there are conflicting meetings at the same time, one is on Channel 18 and the other one's on Channel 18 YouTube, which we're finding out with the Citizens Forum, because one of the forums that we're planning is there's another town meeting at the same time. So there are ways to access it. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Marcia.
Coming out of ZBA, I wasn't planning to attend. So if there are any questions, especially as there are responses that come out of the ZBA process, would somebody just email me so that I can include that in that PowerPoint I'm doing for our May meeting? Again, another question that might be
Right.
a concern that is addressed.
And Marcia, I have a couple of questions from the last two ZBA meetings. I have a running list that you may not have received, so I will
Okay.
send those to you also. Do we have due dates for any of this? Did you give us a due date for any of our jobs? Or we just,
Oh, well, you want to go through that?
no, I don't know. I just want to make sure that, I guess there isn't one. I guess as
Well,
long
the
as it's ready,
flyers-
everything's got to be ready by May 4th. I mean, in terms of really
Right.
being sure that we've got everything in there. Aside from the letter to the editor, I don't know when that gets in, but I'll find that out.
So the due date is within a few days.
Yeah, I think so. I think, yeah,
Yeah.
all right.
And the flyers just need to be ready by town meeting. So, yeah.
Well, she's gonna use them though, and are you gonna use part of those in your presentation?
Yeah, hopefully.
So
Yeah.
we want those to be finished product too, whatever she's gonna do. This is an interesting meeting. I did give Bill the work for it, but I have talked a lot, sorry. But,
Yeah, it's okay. We're glad you did. Glad you're here.
well,
So like
doing-
Andrea said before the meeting, she was just a liaison, so she didn't have to say anything. And we weren't gonna let her get away with that, so
oh,
we're not letting you get away either, so.
okay.
Okay, everyone, it was a really great meeting. We accomplished an awful lot again. It's great. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Fran, second.
Second.
Katie, second. Okay, so Richard, Katie,
Aye.
you seconded it. So Nancy James,
Aye.
Shelley,
Aye.
Nancy Bren,
Aye.
and I, Bill Stockert. So we stand adjourned at 5:30 PM. Boy, did we get done.
Well done.
Lot in an hour. So thank you, everybody.
Nice job.